Hi, I'm Berdine Nickens, and this is a beautiful day, and I hope you all are having a great day. And today's topic is about the effects of marijuana. A lot of people today, they, they, since we passed the bill for medical marijuana, there are a lot of people who seems to be on taking it in some form or fashion. And I want to talk about it for a few minutes and get your take on it. So I'm at the current times I'm working on trying to do something live. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to come up, when I'll be able to do it, but I'm working on that, and I'm working on changing some things about my station. And I don't have a lot of people working with me right now. And as you all know, I never ask you for anything. I never ask you for any money, any funds, or anything of that nature because when I started out, I was basically wanting to learn more about my music. So I thought that the videos would motivate me to practice more and present some of my musical renditions to you. So that's what I've done sometimes. And I've been at this since 2018. And I don't do videos regularly either because, like I said, I wasn't in it for the money or anything like this. But eventually, as I develop myself better, I may be sending the cash app. And if I do, I won't be sending anything out. It will be only to receive something because I don't do a lot of that with any of my uh, finance type things. I don't do a lot of media stuff with it, with my finances and like that, because I'm very, really funny. I'm old fashioned with everything pretty much. Anyhow, so I won't hold you up any longer, and so we can get started. I want to say that when I was teaching, and I do teach all the time still now, but different ways and different forms, not in a completely regular setting. Is basically what I'm saying. Because I have students and and that thing sort of stuff. Uh, but I don't charge them. Back in 1990, early 90s, oh, it could have been mid 90s. I had a class, and it was a seventh grade class, about 35 students. And out of those students, about three-fourths of them had been using marijuana. So the survey consisted of just asking them some of the side effects of using it, some of the things they experienced. And there was a whole list, at least 16 or more different effects of it. One of the effects of it was cottonmouth. I think that was one of the first person who raised their hand and gave me an answer, said cottonmouth. And then someone said they had the matches afterwards. Then the next response was that someone has seen little man's in the ashtray. Somebody else said hallucination, which is probably an effects of seeing someone in ashtrays, men's soldiers or something like that. Someone else said there was, let me see, say hallucination. I've already said. I didn't write down everything that, all the responses that I got. But someone had said something about something they saw in the toilet in the down in the bowl in the commode. No, yeah, the bottom of the toilet where you eliminate waste. And I'm trying to see. There were so many different things. Some things I hadn't even considered, But out of all of the things that responses that were given, I didn't see any response that was something that a person would really be proud of or be happy about. So I want to remind people that a lot of the people today have just run amok. They have just gotten to the place where they seem to be smoking this marijuana day and night. And people, one of the things I had noticed myself, and this is probably what was in one of the responses too, a slowing down of your movement, the reactions. I forgot about it. Like I said, I forgot some of the responses because it was like quite a few responses, and none of them was anything. Yeah, some did say relax. I remember a few students responded with that, and these were seventh graders. But I'm saying, excuse me, that this people have really, and the world has really gone taken a change. I mean, in many ways, and not all of these changes are for the best for us. So I'm just here to remind us that we were not born with, ingesting substances. And when you go to any doctor, many times they will try to evaluate where your body level is and what you are doing. And also, not only will they try to evaluate what your body, what's chemicals or what balance how your body is, what are the elements, like out of all the substances that are required for us, the calcium, the potassium, um, and all of these other things that like the vitamins A's and the B's and the E's and the D's and all of those are in our body. And sometimes, even though this is a natural substance and everyone thinks that it's just grand, it's the greatest thing since peanut butter and jelly or since turnip greens and cornbread or whatever, it's still something being added to your body. I'm not sitting in judgment of anyone. I don't. I try my best not to do that because we all fall short of the glory of God, and everything. But things have happened to people under the smallest influence of drugs and stuff, and each person's body is always different when it comes to any drug. Everybody's body is kind of different. There's no one fit all drug. Even if marijuana is the best thing that a lot of people feel that relaxes them and all of this, and some people say, "Oh, it doesn't do anything to me." And my response to them a lot of time is like, if it doesn't do anything to you, why would you waste your time and your money with something that does nothing? You see, it doesn't make sense. As as they say now, make it make sense. Make it make sense. See. And now, as one of the preachers preached one time, see there. His sermon was see there, and I love that. Oh, see there. See what happens. When you do something that you shouldn't do. He was, maybe referring to, like maybe say when Jonas didn't wanna, but that wasn't his subject. But I'm just giving an example, and he didn't want to go to Nineveh to talk to people that are so harsh, and it's difficult when you're trying to talk to people who are stubborn, and the Bible calls them stiff-necked. And so he got caught in the belly of the whale, and the whale swallowed him up. And, like, see there? That's what happens when you do stuff that, you shouldn't be doing. And so I'm going to say a couple more things about this, and then I'm going to let it go until I learn to develop our topic to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? And have more time to elaborate and maybe get some more responses and get others coming in and just, I can go on and on and on. Believe me, I can. But usually I try to cut these videos really, really short because in the past there were some things that were happening and I just don't want to go through all of that and I don't even want to get into it right here. But there was somebody once, and this I only heard of, so this is hearsay, but I partly believe it with my spirit. The person and the mother had taken some of the marijuana and they ended up committing fornication together. Then there is times when people are on. Now this one I do know. This is not one from hearsay here. A particular husband of mine. I won't say which one because there's always the back end of stuff. Whenever you're talking about real life stuff, he was going somewhere a particular day. I did everything to try to get his attention. Bloop, 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 bloop on the horn. Blump, 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 blump. No response. And I knew he had been smoking, you know, because that was what he did. And I didn't, because he would always be claiming that he would be sore from work and everything. But I mean, there's everything. There's his time in a season, and I'm not upholding him. I never did. And he was always respectful of me. He never did that around me at all, But I would know about it, and everything. And you if you don't really freshen up well, it smells. So around on the clothes and in the mouth, from the mouth and everything. And I already know what it smells like because I did have experience with it when I was younger. I experimented with that drug, so I know what it smells like. And but the person that I knew a guy then. He told me, "Girl, why don't you be on a natural high like me?" And then I just thought about what he said because most of the time, whenever I did it, I just did a few little puffs, to just, it was more experimental type stuff because being a learning scientist, sometimes we experiment on ourselves and we shouldn't. No, we should never, should be careful about experimenting, especially when it comes to drugs. But back to the husband that was driving the car. So I was blowing, he didn't stop. And he was driving about 5 or 10 miles an hour, maybe 15 the most I know. So I thought it shouldn't be any problem, but I didn't ever think to ride up on him to overtake him. And so I'm blowing and I'm trying to get the attention. Never did he notice me. He never noticed that I was trying to get the attention, okay? And that I was behind him. He didn't even know I was behind him now. And he's, like I say, fully probably immersed in his smoke, because like I say, I know he did it, because he admitted and he confessed it too several times, that he really wanted to not do that. And so I see a few times when he would really resist and try to get away. So that's another disadvantage of it. It becomes like a habit. Any habit is challenging to overcome. But so I kept falling, and he stops at a house, and he goes in there, and I'm still sitting there, and I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. That was very interesting to me. So he comes out of the house. He only stays in there a short time because it's up in the day, maybe 12, 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock, something like that. And that day I probably wasn't working or something. I don't remember everything. I just remember this one experience. And so he comes out of the house and I'm still looking. I said, well, maybe he'll pay me some attention now. Maybe he'll see me now. Never saw me. And this is the God loving truth. And I know things weird happen in people's life at that time that God tune others out and fixes so you can't see stuff. But I'm just saying this actually happened, okay? And so when he comes out, I said, now, this is a mess here. I said, and so I sit there and I said, well, let me just go and see who the devil was he seeing here because I didn't know anything about that house and didn't know about me. I knock on the door, lo and behold, this lovely little lady comes to the door, and I said, uh, I just saw my husband come out of this door. And so I was just wondering who lived here. And I don't remember whether I called his name to her, but we did eventually get to talking and stuff, and she revealed some information and stuff. And because she was pretty friendly, a lot of call girls and girls like that that are in the business of, maybe not so much as prostitution as sugar daddy type thing. So she and I finally we did do some talking one day. We got to talking, and she told me a lot of stuff and everything, which was not lies, because because he admits to those things too, and everything. But anyway, I was saying, well, okay, thank you. I just wanted to know. I said because I was behind him, and he never stopped. Now I don't remember whether we had these phones a lot during that time, because usually there were times when that we could phone each other, because always I have my personal phone and always someone else may have their personal phone. But these were in our early days of cell phones and things, of this nature. And so, like I said, and so when I finally, got came together with him and I talked to him about it, and I was like, I don't know, you didn't even stop at all, and you went to see so and so because she told me her name, and I won't call their names on here, and everything, but a lovely lady, very very pretty young lady, and nice, and like I said, because usually people who in a specific business they are nice. I know a little bit about that too. But anywho, um, so I'm saying that under the influence of this, and sometimes when people are driving, I see some people act like they don't have anywhere to go. And I did canvassering after my teacher retirement, which like a lot of times when we retire a little earlier, we don't get a lot of have a lot of retirement funds to actually settle back and go fish and go on trips and fishing and all these things that we like to do. So we have to go back out here and make a little bit more money to make things work together for us, supplement what we have. And what was I saying about? Let me see. I lost my train of thought there. It was about. Okay, let me think here a second. Hold that thought. Give me a second. Oh yes, when I see people driving so slow, I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is going on? They're driving. I mean, on the highway. Look like I missed something, but I'll have to check back on my video, see where was I really, what did I was supposed to go back to. But because I don't know how I got retirement in that way and with that. But anyways, they driving slow, and you trying to get somewhere, and you're saying, why is everybody driving so slow? Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was in Caravansering, and I was part of the person who did the marijuana, medical marijuana. I didn't mind doing that one, the petition, to get people to sign up so the government, the government got to tell you to do everything. We're free, but we're free in a structure. And so then when they came to the one for recreation, I was like, no, I don't think so. But like many people already kind of off the grid type thing, they are already dealing with drugs and stuff like this. They already in having marijuana. Because I remember back in the 60s something when I met someone in Chicago, and this man, tall, handsome, dark skinned man, very tall, and everything. And so he sick, like, and he had in his house, and like I said, I don't call him because I probably don't remember his name real well. Anyway, I vaguely remember his face, but handsome fellow, had pot in his apartment, in his house. I can't remember whether it was a house or apartment, but he had big old pot of reefer, marijuana, and so I guess they had their many names, and I'm saying to myself, why did you do this? What is, and he just smiles and he's highly intelligent, one of the sophisticated fellows. Had this big pot full of marijuana and this, and I'm like, and there was a young lady I met in Chicago also, who said that she starts her 7-year-old with it in the mornings, and I want them to be hip, be this and that. I said, well, I really think that at that age you should, that's really a little unfair because I kind of think, and I've been accused of being high opinionated, and everything. But I was like, I think a child needs to be able to make their own decision about whether they're going to do that because, like me being the way that I am, and I just think being sober is the greatest thing. Now, like I said, there are some people who probably cannot function properly because I remember listening to and like I said, I'm not big on calling names and stuff like that, but his one of the ones that I post a lot of. I posted a lot of his material, and he did say that some people have these deficits in the body, and they do need something to perk them up or to bring them to life. So I kind of think, and he did a lot of research, and he always say, I search and you research, so you know who I'm talking about now. If you know him and you listen to his tapes. And and I know his name fully. I do forget a little something every now and then, but I know his name because I post a lot of his stuff. Because he does a lot of studying about the bodies and works in whole health healing, the herbal healing things. But we're talking about a herb, but this is a plant that is natural, like most things are natural because I mean everything has a vibration of level of of existence that would sort of coincide with life, life forms. Even if they may be petrified as rocks or whatever, but most of these things come from a life form because, and I want to get into when the Most High created everything. And I kind of went through my head about it a few times, and I thought, wait a minute, now let's take a look at this. How did this come? What did this come about? How did this exist? When the Most High you stepped out and created everything, like James Weldon Johnson, the creation, he can speak it real good. God stepped out and he said, I'll make me a world. I'm lonely. I'll make me a world. And all this stuff, the creation is beautiful. I love that one by James Weldon Johnson. But he was saying, what I'm saying rather, is that when I think about everything that was created, I know that the creator created the ground, the soil, and everything. But when I think about everything in the soul, everything that exists, there was creation there too. But from what I can almost tell, those even the soul has life forms in it. So I think sometimes even the things that are hard, that the wood it was once had life in it because the water and stuff came through and it grew and grew and grew. So I kind of think that about all of the minerals, and because we always look at the minerals that like they never really had life. But anyway, I'm off. I deviated a tad bit back to the marijuana subject here. Uh, when we're dealing with marijuana, like I said, it is a life plant. Like it's a plant that was live. And when we ingest the foods because these all of these plants are given to us for food, right? I'm just saying that even if you are a person who needs it, there can be abuse and overuse. And I think that's something we need to think about. There can be abuse and overuse. And so if we're overusing something, that could probably create something in our heads that maybe we get thought to do something, and it may be something that we should not be doing. And because, like I said, when I that day I followed that husband, and he didn't even know I was behind him. He was so that would means that sometimes this plant could make you more relaxed than what you need. And then when the laws were passed, I ain't gonna say we, because I was just working doing the canvassering, team lead canvassering, when I was petitioning for the medical, because from what I understood, uh, there's the element, and I don't know if it was TBC, or but it's something that with some initials that this comes out of it that keeps you from being having that initial effect that you would have if you were smoking it, or ingesting it too, because a lot of people have ingested in gummies and all cookies and all different things like this. They have many forms of it, and I haven't done the study on it, but I do intend to. I have so many different types of studies, and so when you're studying everything, a lot of things, it's just kind of hard to do an intensive study on one thing. I'm overwhelmed with things half the time. Like, should I do this one? Should I study this one? And how to divide my time up. I'm really, really praying about how to get the most out of my time. The time that I'm not resting or sleeping or relaxing or meditating or something like that, that when I'm busy moving about, how to get the most out of it. There's exercise that needs to be done. There's cleaning that needs to be done. And there's, just all readings, so many different types of reading, because most of us are behind anyway, because back in the olden days it was always about work and all other kind of stuff going on that we just really couldn't. Even today, a lot of times we can't have an organized schedule as like we want to have it, because we got so much going on. But in the mix of all of that, it is important to be sober. It takes everything we have just to do, stay on a good course, as it is. So if we have something in our head that is there causing us to be highly sedated, or causing us to be over excited, stimulated, that might not be the best thing for us to be doing. Hey, I've been on here a while, and I try to bring out some important information about smoking marijuana or being on any drugs for that matter. Some of those drugs are way more potent and way more uh, powerful. Just stuff that we shouldn't be maybe dabbling in. There's a time for everything. There's of course, according to my understanding in Ecclesiastes in the Bible, there is a time and a season for all things. But it didn't say do certain things all seasons, except pray and be watchful. Those are the only things I know that is there that to be done at all seasons, in any seasons. But for as ingesting things at all season, in the season, that has not been my understanding and everything. So if somebody is, and I know all had those, that was one of the things too, the students said in the survey, that it can become addictive, remember. And anything that becomes addictive can be a problem to overcome it. That could take a lot. Hey, I thank you for joining in with me today. And if you stayed to the end here, you really did great. And I hope this can give a person another view who has maybe is intoxicated with stuff. We weren't born that way. I don't think the Most High intended for us to be that way, because He said, "Be sober," so that you can, because your adversary, well, there's been a lot of changes and a lot of reinterpretation in the Bible, but it says your adversary, the enemy is constantly waiting to pounce on you, and I found that people who you thought you can trust, they can become the very worst ones on you, especially if you are not diligent in keeping a path of righteousness, and like I said, I try not to be so didactic and religious, because I know that can be an issue within itself, and I won't even tackle that one today. I won't even try to add it in on this what I'm talking about. But I wish you peace, joy, and happiness, every one of you, and anyone who takes the time to watch this. They don't circulate my stuff very much, so I have to be bothering you all and sending you stuff. And believe me, I really, really wished I didn't have to send everybody something, because they will act like only one person saw my stuff or only two people saw it. And thanks God I'm delivered from me. And that's the only way we gonna get peace, because and if you like my style, my hairstyle, let me know. I'm growing it back out. I'm always cutting it and growing it out. I love you all, and God bless you. Bye bye. Have a great day today. And thanks again for joining. Thank you. And you know what? If you could help me out, if you think, when in time give something and you think it's something that people could use and be helpful, share it with 3 or 4 people. 10 would be great, you know what I'm saying? But if you shared it with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people, that will be highly appreciated. That will be helping me out. Thank you so much. And redoing my books, one of them anyway, my first one that I wrote. I always try to figure out a way how to say certain things, because it ain't what you do, is how you do what you do when you do what you do. Okay? Bye bye.